Hello and welcome to English Story Station. Today, we are going to explore one of the most important and dramatic stories in recent world history, Venezuela under the leadership of Nicolás Maduro, a story of wealth, power, collapse, protest, migration, international pressure, and today, sudden military conflict. This video will help you improve your English while learning real events that have shaped this nation and its people. Venezuela is a country in South America that holds some of the largest proven oil reserves in the world. For many years, oil made the country wealthy and funded government programs. In the late 1990s, Hugo Chavez came to power and began a socialist movement called the Bolivarian Revolution. He promised to use oil wealth to help the poor, build schools and hospitals, and reduce inequality. When Chavez died in 2013, his chosen successor, Nicolás Maduro, took over as president. At first, many people believed he would continue Chávez's vision, but events changed rapidly. Soon, Venezuela's economy, politics, and society faced deep crises. Under Maduro, Venezuela's economy faced serious problems. Oil production, the backbone of the economy, fell dramatically. Mismanagement, corruption, and lack of investment meant that the state oil company, PDVSA, lost much of its capacity to produce and export oil. International sanctions also reduced Venezuela's ability to sell oil and access foreign capital. As revenues dropped, the government struggled to pay for imports and basic services. Inflation soared to the highest levels ever seen in a peaceful country. People could not afford basic goods like food, medicine, and fuel. Shops often had empty shelves. Hospitals lacked supplies. Many Venezuelans faced hunger and illness. By 2025, close to 8 million Venezuelans had left the country, becoming refugees in other parts of Latin America, the United States, and Europe. Families were separated. Children grew up far from home. These migrations became one of the largest in the region's modern history. Nicolás Maduro's political leadership was deeply controversial. Opposition parties accused him of limiting democracy. Critics said elections were unfair and manipulated. In 2018, Maduro's re-election was widely rejected by international observers, and many governments called it illegitimate. Maduro's government argued he was the rightful leader and accused foreign powers of interference. In 2019, Venezuela faced a political standoff. The opposition-controlled National Assembly declared the presidency vacant and named Juan Guaidó as interim president. Many countries recognized Guaidó, but Maduro remained in control of state institutions and the military inside Venezuela. Under Maduro, freedom of speech and political opposition were restricted. Journalists and activists faced pressure, censorship, or arrest. Human rights organizations reported abuses and political prisoners. Another major problem was corruption and connections to organized crime. U.S. prosecutors alleged that Maduro and members of his government were connected to powerful criminal networks, including the Cartel of the Suns, a group accused of trafficking drugs internationally. Some U.S. indictments claimed that high-level Venezuelan officials profited from these criminal operations. Venezuela rejected the accusations. These allegations increased tensions between Venezuela and the United States. The U.S. government, particularly under President Donald Trump, accused the Maduro regime of supporting drug trafficking and criminal networks. Beginning in August 2025, the U.S. launched military operations known as Operation Southern Spear in the Caribbean and Pacific, targeting vessels alleged to be carrying drugs. In late 2025, the U.S. began land strikes within Venezuelan territory, including drone strikes on suspected drug smuggling infrastructure. The United States also deployed a major naval and air military presence near Venezuelan waters, including the aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford, in the largest U.S. military buildup in the region since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Both nations traded harsh rhetoric, with Maduro calling the U.S. a threat to sovereignty and Washington describing Maduro's government as illegitimate and criminal. For ordinary Venezuelans, life under Maduro became a struggle for survival. Many Venezuelans faced long lines for food and medicine. Public services such as electricity, water, and healthcare became unreliable. Power outages were common. Fuel shortages persisted. Even skilled professionals like doctors and engineers left the country. As family members moved abroad, millions depended on remittances, money sent back home, to survive. The youth and middle class, once comfortable, had to adapt to new realities. Some worked informal jobs. Others organized in community groups to share resources. Venezuelans showed resilience, but the deep crisis reshaped society permanently. Now, here's the breaking and historic update as of January 3, 2026. This is part of world history unfolding right now. Today, the United States launched military strikes inside Venezuela. This was an unprecedented escalation of the long-running conflict between the two countries. Multiple explosions were reported early this morning in Caracas, the capital, and in other areas near military installations, including Fuerte Tiuna and nearby airports and antennas. Witnesses reported at least 7 powerful blasts and low-flying aircraft over major parts of the city. Shortly after the strikes, U.S. President Donald Trump announced that Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and his wife Celia Flores were captured and flown out of Venezuela. Trump said this operation was successful and carried out with U.S. law enforcement support. The Venezuelan government rejected these claims and called the attack military aggression. Vice President Delcy Rodriguez demanded immediate proof of life for Maduro and Flores, stating that their whereabouts were unknown to the government. Caracas declared a state of emergency in response to the strikes. International reactions vary. Some governments condemn the action as a violation of international law and sovereignty. Others praise it as a move against alleged criminal leadership. As of now, the full consequences of this event remain uncertain and international tensions are rising. This moment could mark a historic turning point in Latin American geopolitics, potentially reshaping the region's future. It's a dramatic and complex chapter in the long story of Venezuela's crisis. Venezuela's story under Nicolás Maduro is one of hope, hardship, resilience, and controversy. What began as a movement for social change became a multifaceted crisis affecting millions of people. Today, with military strikes and political upheaval in 2026, Venezuela stands at a crossroads. The world is watching, and history is unfolding. Thank you for watching English Story Station. If this video helped you with your English and your understanding of world events, please like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next story.